Hello, this is a 1 week old fry, day 7. That's a continuation of my playlist. The lighting's a little bit skewed because the shell is forming on this fry is really kicking off a lot of white. Whoop. But you can see anything that's not part of that. Let's get this backed out here. See if we can get him back in there. Stay there. Stay put. Nope. So this is going back to what I was saying in my last stream, which was actually look at a set of week 4 fry. These fry are very hard to catch on camera when you're trying to get really close like this. Try to get this. It's better. There. Let's see how long I can keep that going. You can see the lungs are developing. They're wider, starting to create a little girth to the fry. I'm thinking my camera's capturing the little cell chambers even. I'm looking at a different screen, so it's hard to tell, but looks like it's coming through. To get this one closer in. A lot of movement on these guys now. Yeah, they're coming in. They're making quick appearances. I just wanted to get a couple good minutes of film of the stomach view here, so you could get a good look at the lungs. That's I really need to invest in some sort of an articulated arm. Oh, yeah, it's pretty brutal. Okay, we'll have to come back to that. Oh no, wait, there's another one. bear with me here. Listening. Yeah, it's not such the best angle, is it? I think as the stream goes on, I'll have better opportunities. It's tough. I think I had better film right at the get-go. We'll get there though. Yeah, very difficult to get them. Sorry, we'll come back to that. I know I can get some better film. Let's see what we got here. So very busy, very healthy, very happy, very busy. Unfortunately, I'm not getting the best clarity here on these pictures. I don't know why. Shit right now. To make sure there isn't something on that lens. Although I was getting good film before, so I freak out about it. The lighting is very white for some reason. The female's facing me right now, and she is breeding for a third time in this tank on day 5. she spawned the second time. Oh, I might be able to get a little bit of that on camera right now. Some more spawning activity. I did get this in my 2-minute trailer for my channel. So if I can try to get this. Now, she'll just be coy and won't let him do his thing. She'll just keep moving every time until she's ready. And when she does her thing, she always latches on to a nearby sword. I went into this in week 4 video. But she'll just eventually stop and settle on a sword, and then they will do their thing. Looks like they're just doing a little bit of behavior there and not really committing. Like I said, there's a decision made by her. I guess, you know, when the eggs are ready, I would imagine that's probably what dictates it. She's pretty fat right now, so any day now I'm expecting a third one. So it's crazy. She is amazing. I'm glad that I was able to get what I got on film and share it with YouTube, because I know it's going to be helpful. I'm positive it's going to be helpful. So, you know, you get to see what a healthy female should look like. Only fat from eggs and not from, you know, overeating or too much food. Very streamlined fish and good health, and just a breeding machine. There's the male. All set with being on camera. Yep. So I'm not going to go focusing on them. They're all over the place. But if I happen to see them laying an egg, I'll stop what I'm doing and go back to them. The female had her belly to me for a while. And I just wasn't able to get it in time. This particular sword leaf that's in camera right now had 5 Otocinclus eggs placed on it. Just that particular leaf. That's from a melon sword, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure that's a melon sword. It might not be. It is a sword. It is a broadleaf sword. But it's a very popular visiting spot for my breeding pair. Seem to be going back to it. But I just wanted to point that out. Um, there is definitely a melon sword right there. And it has constantly visited the new growth. What you're seeing in red has been visited by my week one fry. I'd say starting on day 4, pretty much. I mean, day 4 is when they pretty much start really investigating. Um, and they won't want to go to anything hard, really. If there's algae on it, they will. So yeah, I've seen a lot of activity on that. Let's see if I can't get some of these guys on camera here a little better, huh? No. Stay right there, just for a second, please. I think that's as good as I'm going to be able to get it. As you can see, compared to the adult, they're so small. Oh, that's not very nice. They're not the greatest parents. You know, they're smart in what they do, but they don't nurture their fry at all. They don't defend their fry at all. Um, and if anything, in larger numbers, they would stress their fry. I think, I would love to throw a wetsuit on and watch these things in the wild. But I imagine that when a group pairs off, maybe they'll when she's ready to drop the eggs. I've already shown that you know she'll dip off to several different locations to dump eggs, but they school in the wild, and I would imagine that there's some sort of behavior that takes place that's different at that moment. They probably break off from the group and find some place that's not being visited by the school to dump their eggs. Because, like I said, in a large group, they just, um, they in a large group in a tank, especially, they would really be stressful on these young fry. They never have a chance to just freaking rest for a second and settle. Um, that's why uh, in my week 4 video, I talk about um, one shrimp per 6 square inches of substrate, and I really should revise that to every foot. If you go one shrimp every foot in your tank, you'll be good. And once you cross, tanks are 18 inches wide, so you cross that threshold, you add another shrimp. Does not add the shrimp. In like a 40-gallon breeder, if you had, uh, you know, 15 shrimp, 20 shrimp, your base colony, that'd be good. You almost wonder if she comes in to check to see if there's enough biofilm and um, detritus where she wants to lay these eggs. She's almost coming in to check on the fry to see if they've eaten all the food source for her or not. I wouldn't venture, I guess, at the numbers that I have in this tank right now from this group, but it's going to get confusing pretty soon because there's hatching that's taking place either tonight or tomorrow. So I don't. Might even be happening now. I should be looking for eggs, but I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be doing that to anybody watching this. It's pretty rough trying to chase the camera around and get anything in focus. And so I got to take my shots where I can get them. It's almost like oh, there might be some activity going on here. It's almost like they're saying get out of there. That's prime time real estate. You need to move on now. That's week one. Get out of there. Very busy on that glass for them, which is not usually the case. It's funny. This sword and the camera is a very popular sword. Oop. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do the week two stream with this stinking thing. It's so bad. Fight me so bad. Jeez. We have a very large area um, to be spawning and feeding and resting. Just to be coming to this one spot so many times. It should probably be noted, you know, this sword is directly against glass. Okay, so I talked about how the fry will bounce off the location where they hatch, maybe about 6 inches, and then they'll just hang out in that spot wherever the hell they land. That kind of behavior might exactly reason for why this is a popular spot, because the fry that leave where they are born and go to glass tend to do the best, from what I can see, with one exception. And they just have access to like a cleaner biofilm, and but there's generally more algae on it than other competing organisms, I guess. Maybe things that would just be a tough eat on on day 2, on day 1, which is, you know, they're literally their first meal. Once their yolk completely dissipates. Now, I think that it should definitely be noted too. Your pH would should would and should affect that. So if you're running a little lower, I would imagine your fry would lose that sac a little faster, hatch a little faster. Um, but you're obviously you're borderlining it. You always want to be on the higher end, at least egg wise. Um, so yeah, I don't know. There's there's too much going on there for me, for a little old me to understand. I'm not a biologist, and I'm not an expert um, on this fish. I'm just getting good at breeding them. Uh, that that kind of thing is beyond me. I really don't know. So I don't want to just say. But going back to, if you're looking to set up a spot for heightened breeding activity, yeah, I would recommend a sword right next to some glass. Um, obviously, driftwood and smooth stone is good too. Uh, Not too far away, they have that. But I don't see first meals happening uh, anywhere else other than pretty much glass. Sometimes on plant and sometimes on stone, but it's really the super smooth surfaces. Excuse me. So um, if you um, plant your broadleaf swords against the corners of your tank, I would think that's best case scenario for you, for giving the the auto a spot to really lay a lot of eggs. Um, Current is going to play a role in that too. I mean, obviously you typically have your intakes and your outtakes on the corners of your tank. So um, if you can see, there's a Fluval FX4 powering this tank, and its outlets right there on camera, and the the little fry have no problem hanging out nearby, and it's blasting. So uh, you know, they say still waters. You know, the fish comes from still waters off of tributaries of riverways. So yeah, like the little shallow pools that form in a river. I'm sure most people have seen that type of thing happening. And, you know, to have, um, to have that kind of a steady current within a tank, okay, and also have the level of filtration provided by that freaking river that's right next to it, is impossible. So when they tell you that the auto, prefers still current, um, yeah, as you can see, that's a Fluval FX4 bursting out water, and this is a preferred spawning area. So shenanigans to that. Maybe there just wasn't enough time to watch these guys to make that observation, or maybe they just completely behave differently in the wild, and this is behavior that's typical for young pair that's in captivity. I don't know. I can't tell you for sure on that, but I can tell you that this business of having like really still water or trying to create that kind of that kind of scenario in your tank for these fish and having success with them, you know, in a species only tank, forget about it. That's not what they want, so it's not going to work. And I noticed some of my most healthy fry also coming from this general area, which is, um, you know, it, it, it reasons to think that these fry, when they broke off their yolk and um, they swam onto something, while they were waiting for that yolk to turn into their stomach, they were latched onto something and having to swim. And because they were in a fair, not, you know, a super strong current, but a fairly strong current, they had to swim in place. They had to use muscles. They had to grow faster. They had to latch on harder. Everything had to work harder. The presence of food on the area where they were, you know, doing that business enabled them to survive and thrive. So it was a preferred spot. They never really left. As you can see, they still come back. But um, you know, that's something to think about if you're really like going full bore with this and you want to lay something out. Maybe you're super duper stubborn and you know, you're a glass tank breeder and that's that. You're gonna do bare tanks and um, you're gonna use the bubblers, foam, and that's it. Well, maybe you'll have a little more success if you take one of those potted swords and shove it in the corner. You know, just something to think about if you're, you know, at the point where you're, you know, not wanting to listen to what I have to say. Some people might be doing things so different from what I'm doing that they're all set. So, you know, I just want to throw that out there. And I talked about that in the week 4 video too. That, you know, there's a lot of different things um, that help you get success and get lower mortality rates. So, you know, it doesn't have to be all of this at the same time. You don't have to devote a tank to this like I have. Um, but if you're a breeder and maybe maybe you got a few tanks that are planted, um, and you've got rinky-dink community fish in it, a couple Plecos, maybe you're growing plants in it for sale. Um, yeah, this is the spot. This is where you do this. Over, in my opinion, over a glass tank. I mean, a bear tank. I have done both. It sucked. I had poor success. So, best of luck. Um, didn't work for me. This is what worked for me. I should really back out and watch these two for a minute. I really haven't had it. If there, maybe by lights out tonight, there'll be more eggs. You can see the current, very strong right there, very strong. You know, enough to create good gas exchange for me. Um, they don't mind hanging out right next to it. You know, right in the blasting zone. So I think that should be noted. You know, at least while I was in captivity, they're not afraid to get that extra circulation, flow, and filtration. And the fry demand it. Maybe not the current, but the filtration. Got to have those solids down. Let's see if I can get the camera on some more fry. See, also she's not eating. She's not feeding on that glass. He is a little bit because he's retarded. But I think that I take that back. He's not retarded. He's just he's not thinking clearly. Okay. Um, yeah. You got this female that's I think she's urinating on that wall. She's doing something on that wall, but she's not eating. She's definitely not coming over there to rest. I think it's worth uh, looking into that more. But what kind of behavior is going on there? Okay, so say this is the nest. You know, right below is where she's going to put these eggs. Is she urinating on that wall to bring up the biofilm? Is that what he's doing? It's crazy. There's a purpose in that activity. I just don't know what it is. And I there's a little bit of like kind of spawning activity because he's trying to make something happen. But I think she's up to something else. Kicking out the fry and doing something to this glass. So yeah, something to think about if you're into thinking about it. I don't know what else could be going on there. She's got like a glue that comes out on the eggs. I don't think that that would be coming out now on the glass without any eggs. But maybe that's something that's being used for to seed the wall. See what she's doing there? I don't know. Maybe it's urine, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a hormone. Maybe not. I don't know. I find it to be very interesting activity. All right, let's go back to some fry. Okay, and just, here we go. Um, Again, the fry right on the, area where there's a large amount of current. Plenty of food source everywhere else. Prefers to be right there. Okay, day six. Day six fry. It's not throw out everything that's been said, but in captivity, there's other things going on, and it should be considered. You want these things to not be choking to death on solids on that day. 1.5 day 2 meal. It doesn't stop until day six, roughly day five. I'd say day five. You're out of the woods on day four. That's like when it's the worst. You got to decide though. You know, uh, do I want to go with what is said on the wiki page, or do I want to go with what I'm seeing on camera? It would be real nice to have some camera work of them in the wild, but you're never going to get this kind of footage of a fry in the wild, I don't think. Good luck. That'd be like $1 million biology footage, I would think. Put that on the next planet Earth or whatever. It'd be pretty tough. It's not too hard getting it, decently in a tank. There are some fry on the face side, so I am going to try to catch one there. Try to get that stomach view again better. It was so white before the sunset starting in my tank. Maybe it'll be a lot easier to get a good shot. I don't think else. There's much else I can add about the actual week one, um, activity other than what I filmed, and also to stress again that it seems like the thickening of the lung area happens on these days, in coming days. Um, that blue hue, that healthy blue hue that you see, is going to remain for a while. Um, Oddly enough, I think it's possible that the males might not have this color, because I am seeing healthy fry without this color in very small numbers. It might be possible to sex them even this young, due to the fact that one is brown and one is blue. So there's that. Interesting thought. Other than that, I don't think there's much else I can add about week six. But I will be making another stream for week two, um, and then that'll pretty much wrap up the playlist um, for at least the content that I'm providing. I'm probably going to add some links to some other people's stuff, because there's been some great work on these fish on YouTube. Um, I just tried to focus more on the development, the phases of development, and what to try to do to try to lower mortality rates. And I don't think anybody really focused on that too much. So I hope I contributed something to somebody that's watching. And I will make another stream for week two. But since I already had um, a week for fry, I think that's going to be it. So we'll see. Yeah, you can see in this environment, this Fry's got to work a little harder to stay where he is. He's got to swim a little bit more. He's got to use that tail. I mean, he's not swimming yet. She probably is not swimming yet. Um, but she's got to basically swim on the glass, and that I think helps your mortality rates. I do, because obviously it's the Fry's in a more cleaner environment, but it's not working so hard that it's stressed out and it can't stay put or feed properly or rest properly. There's also, this isn't, you know, going back to the environment that they have in the wild. This isn't the total climate of the tank. So the fry could easily go to any number of places where there was almost dead current, or certainly not the kind of current that you're seeing here. But I believe that the reason why this fry stays is because the biofilm on that glass is very clean. There's high amounts of algae on it, and the fry is able to latch on to the surface without injuring its delicate mouth, which is still developing. So I think that those things should be considered. Um, you know, it's getting blown around, and it likes it. Okay, it's getting blown around, and it likes it. It's not dipping off, stressing out. It's also, you can see its tail isn't literally getting whipped all over the place. Um, it's using its muscles to almost like kind of like fly like a bird in the current on that glass. So I think that aids development instead of hindering it. Something to think about. It's cool. You can see the areas that are really white are parts of the like the solid bone structure that's starting to form. I like that. It's pretty cool. Like the first joints on it, and you can see a little bit of the stomach too, but not as good as definitely not as good as the day one and day two footage that I had. Um, I need to go back and put minute marks where I had the best footage for that because it was really good. Yep, I think I've gotten my best footage. I'll try this one that's lower. I think that the lighting is just starting to fight it too much. Fight the camera, too many reds. I can't get a good shot. This guy might cooperate a little bit better though. So. There we go. There we go. That's nice footage right there. Oh, that's a good way to close it out. I'll take that. You can see the three chambers of its lungs. So cool. This thing is so small. It's so small. To be able to see that, it's amazing. And you can see or you can't see the the two little scales that are up on the back side above the back side of the lungs that look like another set of eyes. You can see clearly here that that's not a piece of cartilage or anything that's doing that. You know, you'd see it. It's just it must just be a piece of a small piece of scale, maybe even like some sort of a joint, right at the end of the or the edge of the lungs and the that fin, that side fin. I don't know. It's pretty cool to see that. I did capture that in other videos. It looks just like another set of eyes. Pretty clear that that's to fool predators. And I'm sorry, I don't know what its prey would be in the wild. I would love it if somebody piped in and told me what that would be. Because it's got to be something super small. It's got to be a very small fish that can predate this fry for it to need to do that. Maybe some sort of killifish, or they just shouldn't be getting um, in the same levels of water. Uh, I'd be curious to know what fish predates them. Definitely, because whatever fish it is, been doing it a long time, long enough for it to this fry to grow a second set of eyes in the back of its gills. Must be something it really likes. Must be a tasty treat, Otocinclus, to whatever fish that is. And I suppose it would make sense too if they're chasing a school. It's going to be these little fry, week 5, week 6, 7 fry that can't keep up. You get a pretty good look at that mouth too right now, and see how much soft tissue is around it. There's not any chance that this fry could visit a piece of driftwood right now, or rock, slate, whatever, and have a chew. It's just not going to happen. What it is going to do right now is try to get some of that biofilm and detritus, and it doesn't mind sifting through some mulm to get at it. Seems to be a preference when it's not on the glass, so likes to get its nose dirty and stir things up, almost like a corridor, almost. Not on that kind of scale, but I don't think the camera can get right now, but on the edges of its mouth, there's a good shot. On the very edges of its mouth, you can see it's got these little feelers that also kind of sway and stick onto the glass independently. It can move them on its own like a catfish. Well, not like a catfish, because I think it is a catfish, isn't it? But yeah, it's cool to see those developing too right now, and it definitely uses them. But going back to the wood and slate, you can see that the mouth is just not capable of chewing on things like that right now. But week 2, that activity is going to start, and they'll start testing that mouth, maybe start chewing on things that they haven't ever chewed on before, like a piece of wood, or maybe even just a piece of silicone from the edge of the tank or on the plumbing, a piece of plastic, something smooth to start things out. They'll start chewing, and once that behavior starts, it doesn't stop. They learn that they get a hell of a lot more food by doing that than if they just sat there just trying to suck it up, which is what this one's doing. You can see it's starting to get its first pigments forming on its tail. The little stripes. Count. Looks like 4 of them here. That's new. That's new in the past, say, 2 days. That was the male just came by and practically ate that fry. Oh my goodness. See, and see how the current is up, or the fish is allowing the current to drag it across the glass. That also might be something that is an aid, a benefit, part of the high current being a benefit, because at this young age, the fry's not able to chew, so it's basically sucking up the food that it comes upon, and this current and this fry is smart. It can angle its fins in such a way that it gets dragged in the direction that it wants to go, and in doing so, it has a chew without actually performing the function. It almost rakes up biofilm in its mouth parts, and then just sucks it on in. So it's maybe starting to learn the behavior of chewing on different surfaces to get to food. Maybe that's how this starts. Maybe when they first start to try to keep up with the school. Oh, when they first start to keep up with the school, um, that helps them the most. Um, going going to where they are already at in the faster rivers, um, where they got dumped off and just kind of hanging onto a rock and not visiting with them yet. This kind of behavior, what you're seeing now, and then using the fins to drag itself to get its food, as opposed to just sitting there and having a chew. You can see those scales right behind the fins now starting to reflect that second set of eyes. You can see it now. It's crazy. Very reflective. Just there on the joint of the fin and the lung. Yep, I don't think I'm going to be able to get much better footage because the lighting now is starting to flash. The highest points of reds here, it's about to go blue on it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. I hope my info was helpful, and I hope I was able to get some decent week one behavior. Get some good footage of them. It's like every minute I need an articulating arm, a tripod, or my hand. It's so hard to get because I can't hold this steady enough up close. I'm holding it right now pretty steady, but it's tough. I need to do something better to get better film. This fry is a little more stubborn. It's working for its food. It's not using the current to its advantage. Probably hasn't hung out in this area too much. They all have their own little spots. Very busy. Busy, busy, busy. Okay. Thank you for watching, and I will be back next week with more film, hopefully.